You may be famous one day, okay?
He is famous now.
Don't pass in front of the light.
You want us to do a video of you on your phone too?
Yeah, I'm just getting some social.
Oh, that's your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
See me.
Okay.
All right, so,
All right. I'll get out.
You killed my life. Let's move in.
Somebody. Maybe you guys are ready.
Okay, so from the top. For the people who aren't familiar, what is Blue LA?
So for the people that aren't familiar with Blue LA, we are an electric car sharing service where members are able to rent out the services and go from station to station.
Take us to the beginning. How did Blue LA start?
Well, to take you from the beginning, our parent company actually is in France. And they've been able to build an electric car sharing service out there and then be able to expand it out into different countries. LA is actually our second US market. And so we've worked with the city of LA to be able to expand out our program for the people here in LA.
And what is Blue LA's mission?
The mission is obviously to work with the, sorry. So our mission is actually to, okay. Can you repeat the question, okay?
What is the goal or the company goal?
Our company goal, actually, so one of our mission statements is we are the only electric car sharing service to cater to low-income communities. So we want to make sure that it is accessible to these to the people in the low-income communities, but also to be able to make it accessible for everybody here in LA, and also to reduce the emissions, the pollution, also here in LA. Okay.
We're gonna cut this
Yeah.
off.
Well. Yeah. I
Don't
figured.
worry.
So how does Blue LA differ from other ride-sharing companies like Uber or Lyft?
So Blue LA is a little bit different from other ride-sharing companies like Lyft or Uber because you actually physically drive it yourself. We also provide insurance for the people so you don't actually have to carry your own insurance. As far as for other ride-sharing programs where you're able to rent out the services, I would say it's similar to those programs, but one of the biggest advantages is that we offer free parking at every one of our stations. So there's about 3 to 5 vehicles at every station, and members that rent out the services are able to actually park there for free.
And so who's the Blue LA demographic?
Well, so Blue LA's demographic is actually for everyone. So we have 2 different memberships. One is a standard membership that just caters to everybody in the community, but also we have a community which is a low income rate as well too. So it caters more towards the low income side.
What are the company's long and short-term goals?
The company's short-term goal for right now is to make sure that we work with the city to build out our 40 stations. This was a plan that was made in 2018 when we started in April, and so we're looking to fulfill those goals. In the future, we're looking to figure out different markets. The long-term goal of Blue LA is also to figure out different strategies to be able to expand our program. We want to be not just in the downtown and central LA location. We want to go out to Santa Monica. We want to be in the airports. We want to go down to Orange County where Disneyland is. So we just want to make sure that the carbon footprint is very, very dense so that people are able to just take it from station to station and not have to walk far to their actual final destination.
What is the expansion plan in terms of lower income areas versus more upscale?
The expansion plan for low-income areas versus what was the other one?
More upscale.
More upscale? Okay. So the expansion plan for,
Or you can just say the expansion plan and just go from there.
yeah. So the expansion plan is really just to work in the downtown and central LA location first and then be able to expand it out. Kind of what I mentioned before is that we want to make sure it's accessible for members to not have to walk very, very far. So it might be in between the bus stops where someone gets off a bus stop and they're able to just drive in between. It could be at a it could be at a mobility hub, which a mobility hub looks like, it could be at a mobility hub where it looks like there's metro bikes, there's the metro, there's the scooters, where all of us are working together so that you're able to at least utilize one of the vehicles for your actual needs.
And so what if someone crashes the car? Do they pay for damage? What if you get a ticket while driving?
So if someone does damage the vehicle, we do provide insurance. It is a California state minimum. So if it goes over the minimum, then that person individual does have to pay for the rest.
And the same for ticketing? How would that work?
So for ticketing as well, it's just like a regular vehicle. You do have to pay for your own ticketing.
Are there any plans for Blue LA to have self-driving cars?
Are there any plans to have Blue LA have?
Self-driving cars?
Are there any plans to have Blue LA as self-driving vehicles? Well, actually, there isn't currently. I don't even know if that technology is 100% right now, with all the accidents that are going on with other vehicles. So right now, it's not actually in our game plan.
Do you always know who's driving the car? What if, question. Should I separate this?
Yeah.
Do you always know who's driving the car?
Do we always know who's driving the vehicle? Yes, we do actually know who's driving the vehicles. When someone does actually take out the vehicle, they are using a membership card, which is actually linked up to their account. And all of our vehicles also have GPS navigation in them, so we're able to detect exactly where people are at all times.
And what if someone rents the car for another person who may not have a driver's license?
So can somebody actually drive the vehicle with somebody else's membership? And the answer is no.
And what if someone decides to use the car as a getaway car?
What if someone utilizes our vehicle as a getaway car? Well, you won't get too far because it is 100% electric, and for a full charge, it's 125 miles. So I know people in LA will start driving around, and the cops will eventually get them when it stops.
Are the cars clean? Does the person who uses the car previously leave the car as they found it?
So is that again?
Are the cars cleaned regularly? Is it a requirement that you leave the car as you found it? As clean as?
Can we just hold for a second?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Perfect. So are the cars clean, and what?
I got a little bit.
I guess I'll answer it a little bit. So do we have a system of actually making sure that the cars are clean? And the answer is yes. We do have an operation team that goes out to every station to make sure not just only the station from the outside perspective is clean, but also they go into every single vehicle and make sure that everything else is clean, and also the technical side of everything as far as for the GPS system, it all works effectively.
What if someone leaves a bomb or an animal or a baby in the car?
A baby, animal, and what bomb?
Baby animal.
Well, that's pretty intense.
Either
So what if somebody leaves a baby or bomb or anything inside? Well, since our operation team goes out to every station, they're able to actually, see that there is something in the vehicle. We haven't had any incidents with bombs, luckily. So if there was, then obviously we get the police involved with that.
Okay. So about maintenance, does your operations team, do they run maintenance on the cars? Like, how does your team know the cars? Is it the team or the driver?
Well, the maintenance team would,
Okay, so how do
right?
you know your car is good to go? Is good for running?
So how do we know that the vehicles are good to go? Well, just like before, our operation team does go to every station, and they do have a checklist of what they do have to check. Even small things like window wash fluid, or making sure that everything starts up as far as for the GPS, make sure the GPS is also up to date, make sure the navigation is good as far as for locating the vehicle. So we do have a checklist and a system that we do have to work with.
What happens if you leave your phone inside the car?
So what happens if you leave the phone inside the car? Well, you can call our customer service line, and our operations team will go out there and actually pick up the phone, and then you're able to come to our office, or sometimes operations, if you're nearby, they'll actually drop it off to you. It's happened plenty of times, to be honest.
Do you plan to have other versions of vehicles within the Blue LA fleet? Or what if someone wants to drive a car but without the Blue LA logo?
Do we have, sorry.
Oh, I should separate those. Do you have plans to make different versions of the Blue LA car?
So do we have plans to make different vehicles as far as for Blue LA? And the answer is no. We actually just manufacture everything out in Italy. Believe it or not, the designer is the same designer as Ferrari. So we already have a really good system that we're working with as far as for them shipping it out here. And we want to make sure as far as for branding, it's very, very consistent. So when you see those small mini cars, everybody says, oh, that's Blue LA. And that's really our marketing strategy as well.
In case of an accident where the driver becomes injured and is not at fault, will Blue LA cover the cost?
Is that similar
That
to
was
the?
similar to the
Okay.
earlier question. So, but if they're injured,
Sure. So if you're injured in an accident, we do cover up to the California state minimum, and then obviously after that, the party would actually have to pay for the rest.
do you have any plans to set up video cameras in your cars?
Do we have any plans to set video cameras inside the vehicles? As of right now, no. But actually, that is a good, as far as for everything that's happening now recently. So I think that's a great idea. So that's something that I will take back.
Is this a for-profit organization? And if so, will any income from the company be brought back into the community?
Sure. So is this a for-profit business? For-profit.
For-profit organization.
So is this a for-profit?
For?
Okay. So is this a for-profit organization? And the answer is yes and no. So there's a few parties that actually do get involved. Obviously, as far as for a private entity, our parent company in France actually funds most of it, 75% of our program. But the city of LA also gets involved and pays a portion. And then we also do get a funding from something called CARB, which is the California Air Resource Board, to obviously lower the emissions. So it's private and public.
Is the Blue LA motorcycle an idea that's been thrown around?
Is the Blue LA motorcycle something that's been thrown out? No, but that's actually a great suggestion. I would love to ride a motorcycle, but I do feel like with accidents and everything, that could be a little bit of a liability, but that'd be awesome.
How can Blue LA help the transportation situation for individuals that don't have a license?
What was the question again?
How can Blue LA help the,
But what if you don't have a license?
if you don't have a license, like what happens? How does Blue LA
Handle that.
handle customer service?
Yeah, so so if someone doesn't have a valid driver's license, obviously you're not able to drive the vehicle. So those are a little bit different situation where you could ride like the scooter or the Metro bikes.
How do you plan to address the potential crimes against the vehicles with having stations in low-income areas?
So let me rephrase that.
Vandalism, parts stolen.
So how do we monitor some of the vandalism that does happen in the low-income communities? Luckily, we haven't had too much, which is a blessing, but our operation team does make their daily stops to make sure that everything is good in that location. So once we do get involved as far as for the operation side, not a lot of vandalism actually happens.
Since Blue LA is partially funded by the government, will this have a negative or positive effect on California taxpayers and or the low-income communities that you serve?
So since Blue LA is also funded by the city, it doesn't have a negative impact as far as for raising taxes or anything like that within the city or within the people. And the reason being is because it's already incorporated into your taxes, and there is a fund that needs to. There is a fund that actually goes towards transportation. So the city doesn't just give Blue LA the funding. They give the funding obviously to the Metro bikes, Uber, Lyft, and the whole goal as far as for the city is to make sure that there's a bunch of traffic here in LA, and what they're trying to do is integrate all the software together, so that instead of using your Lyft and Uber app separate or the Metro bike app separate, it just goes into one. And if you go from the start point to the final destination, it will let you know as far as for traffic-wise, which is going to be least traffic, which is going to save the environment. So you have actually an option. So the goal is to be able to integrate all the software together and work together as a team.
And so the last question before we take a break. In what ways has Blue LA improved the service since launch?
So what ways has Blue LA improved the service
since the launch?
since the launch? Okay.
In terms of any issues that you've encountered?
Sure. So how Blue LA is actually helped out. Improved. Okay. How Blue LA is improved as far as for our service since we launched in April is that we're able to make more stations as far as for the density wise. We want to make sure that we have at least a 5-block radius. That's really the goal, so that people don't have to walk as far. We're noticing that our drive time is a lot less, which means that we're doing a good job. Our typical average drive time last year was about 2.5 hours. Hence the reason why we were giving people the second and third hour for free. But if we were to build more stations in between, we imagine that that is going to shrink a lot more because they're able to take it from that station to their final destination. After they're done utilizing the vehicle and they want to come back, they're able to also go from that destination back home.
Cool. Okay, so keep rolling. No, keep rolling. So let's switch for 1 second. So now that was awesome. You did a great job too. Very media savvy. So, so basically, since we got the meat and
Sure.
potatoes, what I thought is I'd just jump in and maybe ask a couple of questions just to round it out a little.
Yeah.
You hot? Or?
Yeah, everybody's hot now.
Okay. Well, I just don't want to get any noise. Do you have any noise from out there? Or?
No, I closed as soon as we could.
Okay. Yeah.
What's that?
That's a
What is
generator.
there?
That's
Rain
regular
is
classroom.
down.
So, well, first things first, can you just introduce yourself? I can't remember your last name, but.
Park. Yep.
Park, right. Ronald Park and your role in Blue LA, just sort of give us a little
Sure.
option.
Hello, my name is Robin Park, and I am in the marketing. Hello, my name is Robin Park, and I am in the marketing department of Blue LA.
Is there a way? Is there a way you can, if you were to give an elevator pitch, like like Forrest Gump meets
It's so
Danny
funny.
DeVito or something like that, like what is Blue LA? Is it like Uber without the? I don't want to put you too much on the spot. And if one of these questions is too weird or wacky, just say.
No, it was interesting because we were just in the office trying to figure out a 10-second elevator pitch, and nobody could come up with it.
I
Because
came up
it's so-
already.
All right. What is it?
Low budget Tesla.
Yes.
Let's take this off and.
Low budget. I don't know. How do you feel about the low? Well, you don't want to say low budget, right?
That can be replaced.
No. Because I think the question before was similar. What is Blue LA? And it was the rent-a-car service from station to station. But I could kind of reword it a little bit too.
Well, affordable and rentable collection.
Yeah, I mean, like if you were to, the reason why we're flirting with this idea too is because it's obviously cheaper to ride the bus. So when we say affordable, it's like it is affordable, but also compared to
it's
some
your
of the
own
other stuff.
car. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not-
Or
Yeah,
like,
it's different.
like driving.
It's convenient, is what it is.
yeah.
Our affordable collection or something?
That sounds like a fashion line. I
Blue-
like it.
Or maybe
Affordable
top
collection.
5.
Hire this one. Hire this one.
Over having a car.
Blue LA's affordable collection, and then the car in the background, and you show all the things that the car do.
That's gonna be what you're gonna.
Service.
That's gonna be what you're gonna.
Do- yeah.
That's what you're gonna do for your promo for
Yeah.
the contest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I'll just
Okay.
I'll just try to wing it. So, what Blue LA is, we're an electric car sharing service that caters to the community. It is on a membership basis where people are able to rent out the vehicles and go from station to station, and it's affordable and actually it's accessible for the community.
Okay. So you got affordable, accessible. Give me 5 adjectives that describe.
Okay.
So affordable, accessible,
Okay.
clean. I don't know.
All right. Blue LA is 100% electric, so as far as for the carbon footprint. Okay. So Blue LA is 100% electric, so that's a benefit. Also, it is affordable for members to be able to use. It is 24/7, 365, so you don't have to wait for a rental service to come by. As far as for the operation side, you don't have to pay for oil changes or any maintenance on the vehicle. Let me think of one last one.
Fun.
Slick.
Also, it's a vehicle,
Easy to
so.
park.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Also, it is a vehicle, so on the rainy days or really sunny days, it's actually a benefit because you have AC in the summertime, and also you don't have to stand in the rain.
Okay, so I guess last thing would be, is there anything that I don't know, should we talk about the pricing? You wanna just run through the pricing structure real quick, or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
do
put
that.
it on screen or something, but it might be helpful just to have.
Yeah, sure. So we have actually 3 different memberships. One is the trial membership, which is $0 a month, obviously, for the activation card, but it does charge 40 cents a minute to use. That's only accessible for a month, and it will kick you off of that plan, and you'll have to choose either between our standard plan and our community plan. Our standard plan is $5 a month for the activation card and 20 cents a minute, so that converts into $12 an hour. And then our community membership, which is more considered low income, is $1 a month for the activation card and 15 cents a minute, which comes out to $9 an hour.
What
For
about
bigger
somebody-
people, the diversity of the other cars will be only this type of car. We discussed
We
it.
just-
Yeah, we did that.
How do you deal with somebody that, you charge them 10 cents and all that per minute per day? How do you deal with somebody that doesn't have, that got your car, but when you ran their card, it didn't go through?
But you can't get the kid for the
Yeah.
car, right?
But they're already in the car though.
Is
No.
there a
Can't get
recharge?
in.
No.
Is there any sort of recharge?
Get out.
So is there a pre-charge to actually applying for Blue LA as a member? And the answer is yes. If you're either on the standard plan, it's going to be $5 in the beginning, and if you're in the community membership, it's $1 just to actually get the activation card.
Okay, so is there anything else, is there anything that we've covered that maybe you wanna rephrase, you wanna, say anything else? You wanna follow up? I'm
Two
sorry.
kind of questions.
Yeah.
I saw that online, the radius of it, it's actually pretty far, like it goes down to Long Beach, like part of the valley. But the problem, I think, is that, all the stations, like you said, are in central LA. So I think you mentioned that there's 20 stations out of 40 so far.
Correct.
Do you guys know exactly where the other stations are gonna be located?
Are we going to use this footage for the thing or?
Possibly.
Okay.
You can-
So yeah,
Yeah.
pretend,
Sure.
yes.
So currently we have about 20 stations, and we do know exactly where the other locations are going to be. And it's still going to be in the downtown and central LA location, a little bit towards East LA as well, and then a little bit west of Koreatown. We just want to make sure, as far as for density wise, that people don't have to walk a far distance. So we're really trying to make sure that it's a lot close in proximity to their actual final destination.
And then, kind of, not similar, but, you mentioned that your parent company is AutoLib?
It's Bolloré. It's a French company.
I think that Bolloré had a similar structure in France, but it did shut down in like, I
Correct.
believe 6 or 7 years. Can you talk about that?
I can't.
Oh, you can't, okay.
Yeah, I can tell you privately.
Okay.
Well, I can tell like.
But not on camera.
Yeah,
the record.
yeah, just not on the record because I don't want to
Okay.
have that, and then the French company comes and says, "Hey, why are you talking about it?" But they did have their own. They had to have a limitation because Blue France was taking over, and so they had to incorporate. It's like AT&T and Verizon. If there's a monopoly, then they're able to raise prices and whatnot. So they wanted to make sure that all the companies like Bird and Lime, they also have a fair share. And so as far as for us, that meant that people were using our vehicles a lot less. So it wasn't actually a benefit to have it there. So that's just on a side note.
Does Blue LA have a lease plan coming out?
As far as for like
As far as
renting out.
somebody that wants to just pick up the vehicle if they're using it that much?
Okay, so does Blue LA have other options to be able to rent them out for an entire day or a different price model? And in the future, we are going to have it. It's going to be more towards an industry-specific type of campaign, but it is something that we are working with.
Now, who are your biggest competitions, Blue LA, when it comes to, you got Uber, then you got the little scooter bikes where they pick up the scooters and they charge it and all that. Like, do you guys have those benefits?
So who is our biggest competition? And I would say that to easily answer this, not too much competition. And the reason why is all of us, as far as our ride-sharing programs, are working together collectively to make sure we do collect data so that the members are able to, obviously utilize any type of vehicle, whether it be the scooters, whether it be the cars, whether it be the bikes. So there isn't too much options. And I'll give you an example of this as well. If I go out and I go out and grab a drink. For example, I'm not going to utilize Blue LA as far as for a vehicle. I don't want to get in our vehicles, obviously. I would use a service like Uber and Lyft. So it's really based off the actual personal preference of that actual individual.
Now, does Blue LA have something where, they have scooters where us personally, you guys help us by we go around and we collect the scooters and we charge it and we get a profit? Is there something where Blue LA can give some low income some money to be able to afford you guys? Like, we pick your cars up and we can charge it ourselves and help you guys out? How does that go?
So currently, is there a business model where an actual member is able to take our vehicles and then make money off of it somehow? And this is actually another structure that we are creating. Instead of our ops team going out there making sure that the cars are clean, we're figuring out a model so we can incentivize the members so that once they send out the vehicle and they clean the car themselves, or they take a picture somehow of the vehicles being cleaned, we do want to incentivize them. So it is a current model that we're actually kind of flirting with right now.
Are there any referral incentives for our customers?
So are there any referral incidents? That's another thing that we are actually working on. Our IT is a little bit backed up as far as for what we can do, but the goal is to be able to send a text message to another family member or a friend and then be able to get a credit on your account and also give them credits as well.
Any promotions?
Huh?
Any promotions for Blue LA?
Any promotions?
Going on to help within the community, the
Sure.
low income community or wherever?
Sure. So are there any promotions as far as for helping out the community? And the answer is also yes. We do separate some of the promotions for low-income communities and also some of the schools as well. So for example, LA Trade Tech, what we're doing with them is it's going to be a 6-month membership for free and then also 5 hours of free drive time for any of the students here.
Are you hiring and who are you hiring for your company?
So are we currently hiring within Blue LA? And the answer is no. Right now, we're so caught up with just trying to build these 40 stations. That was a plan with the city that we were supposed to accomplish in 2018. And so since we're backed up with that, a lot of our funding is actually going to building out these stations. A lot of the construction, all that, we just didn't know that it was going to cost a lot more. So right now, currently, we're on a hiring freeze. But in the future, obviously, as we do expand, we're going to need some manpower to be able to obviously run these stations.
What happens when the supply of cars don't meet the demand?
What was that, what?
What happens when the supply of the cars don't meet the demand?
So what happens when the supply of the cars don't meet the demand? We don't actually have that issue. We do have a warehouse filled with Blue LA vehicles currently. Because like we said, we were trying to build out that 40 stations, so we have enough for those 40 stations. So a little bit backed up as far as for our warehouse, but we'll never have that issue. If for some reason that does happen, we do partner up with our manufacturing plant in Italy, and they're able to ship more vehicles out.
Okay, so say it's 2024, sorry.
Yeah, we should wrap it up in a minute.
Let's get
Go ahead.
it.
Two more questions, okay?
Nine.
Cameron and then Vincent, then we'll come.
Okay, so like, say it's 2024 and Blue LA is still a prosperous company. What is your projected user base?
What was that, what?
5 years from now, how many users do you want to have?
I can't really answer that one either. Yeah, we're not 100% sure. I don't want to overestimate, and 5 years later, it's like, ooh.
Two more, the
Yeah.
last two. Emmy and
Ladies first.
Hi, my question is, are the cars safe enough to drive on the freeway, or are drivers just limited on driving throughout the streets?
So are the Blue LA's car, so can you utilize the Blue LA vehicles on the freeway? And yes, you can. It goes up to 75 miles per hour, so you can actually use it on the freeway.
You stated that most of your cars were manufactured in Italy. Seeing that they're such small cars, or small cars, do you guys plan on making them a little bit bigger for some of the plus-size people on the side of town?
That's a good question. So to rephrase that, we're going to change the vehicles
Shape,
for
size,
shapes
or-
and sizes.
To match
Okay.
the American market.
Yes.
Yeah.
supersize.
Super size, yeah.
Diversify options, one with camera, one without
Yeah.
camera who want privacy, and one with a larger family or size.
Sure. So are we going to change the model of the vehicles? Currently, no, that's not in our business strategy right now. In a marketing strategy, we do want to keep it consistent as far as for vehicles. So when someone does see it, they're able to say, hey, that's a Blue LA vehicle. In the future, I'm not exactly sure if the manufacturing plant is going to actually sell like vans or anything like that.
All right, and then to wrap it up, what,
This last one. See, when that happens, you got, that's what I was talking about.
that's the last question.
No.
What do you love about Blue LA?
So what I love about Blue LA is it's a startup, right? And it does get a lot of funding from the city, us as well. And I've always been an entrepreneur, so I like things growing. I like the marketing side. I like the strategic planning. I like just suggesting new things and seeing that implemented and making sure that we grow the business. But that's just the struggle and the fight that I do love. And it's just like the Rocky Balboa. I just want to make sure that I win, even though at the end he does lose. But it just shows how much effort that you're making to make sure that this program works, especially for the low-income communities. I'm very, very passionate to help out a lot of the low-income communities, people that don't have the accessibility. So just be able to cater towards a lot of those communities, I just really love.
All right, it's a wrap.
Cool. We're all good? Okay. Cut.